It's fast, it's passionate, it's breathtaking. It's the motorcycling world as never seen before. From the inside, our expert, Oscar Haro, brings us closer to the heart of this exhilarating sport. He's a mechanic, technician, ex-rider and world champions manager.
Let's go!
Welcome to Inside Moto. Just by spending hours on a motorbike isn't enough to achieve a podium. Any rider's training supposes a risky exposure to injuries and also includes practicing other sports. Yonny Hernández is the first Colombian to fight for a MotoGP title, and to be able to achieve it, he didn't hesitate to leave his country and social relationships behind. Dr. Ángel Villamor, a renowned specialist, treats top athletes' injuries. Presently working on Yonny's recovery after his last series of operations. They both know all about the sacrifices that come with the sport, and Oscar Haro accompanies them so that we can learn what these sacrifices are. Yonny Hernández won his first national championship in Colombia when he was only 15. Eager to succeed, he moved to Europe. Here, he continues to move forward with his amazing career. He's currently competing in the MotoGP World Championship. He's the first Colombian to do so. This afternoon, Yonny will be flying to Mugello, Italy, to compete in the World Championship. There, he'll face Valentino Rossi and Andrea Dovizioso amongst others on the track. A unique opportunity for the Colombian rider.
You know what is Yonny Hernández, my friend? This is my guy.
Today, he woke up early, so he wouldn't forfeit his training routine. Yonny's a multidisciplinary athlete. Jet skiing is amongst his favorite sports, and today he'll be training with us.
It's very easy. The circuit's right here. We have to go down to the jetty. Red boys left, blue boys right. And that's the route. Right, left, right, left. This sport allows me to work out the lumbar area and legs. On a bike, you ride like this, always using your leg muscles. And this sport comes in very handy because of this. Your elbow even scrapes the water. It's all good.
Come on!
Let's get to it.
Okay, I go to train. Follow me if you can.
If you can. Okay, I try. Thank you for waiting me, eh?
Yonny was born in Medellin, Colombia. There, they have a very different way of life compared to Europeans. Our champion's success is built on strong family bonds. Moving to Europe wasn't an easy decision.
How hard was it to leave your country that suddenly?
It's hard because at the beginning you're following a dream, not knowing if you're going to make it or not. We've sacrificed so much in order for me to be where I am today. Financially and everything else, right? Training, giving it my all, my friends, my family. Because at the end of the day, I'm nearly alone the entire season. You have to go searching for new horizons, new friendships. You get through it all, and in the end, you see it's all worth it.
Nearly a month ago, Yonny's bike caught on fire at the Argentine Grand Prix. It was a very tense moment for the rider who feared for his life.
Well, in the box, they could see the bike in flames, and I didn't even realise, but it was a rough moment.
It caught fire because of oil, right? It must have been a serious oil leakage.
Well, yes, the oil cooler was leaking. I'm sure the bike in front of me held up a pebble or something. And as oil was leaking at high pressure and mixed with the exhaust pipe's high temperature, it burst into flames.
But you didn't know the bike was on fire.
No, I hadn't realised. Then when I saw the footage, I too went, "Ah!"
Track accidents aren't a rider's only obstacle. Now he lives in Europe, far from his loved ones. Fortunately, his mother decided to accompany him and support his races. This way, she makes Yonny's sacrifice less painful.
I learned from a young age that there always be challenges, accidents amongst them, which are the worst. They are what makes you suffer the most. As they grow into athletes as such, it gets harder. So now I suffer more. I don't go and watch him anymore at the track, no, only on television. I don't go and see him and wait for him on the track, no.
It's an unfortunate sport in the sense that if you don't have the best equipment, it's nearly impossible to win. In football, for example, if you're talented, you can buy a ball, like all the other kids, and you'll soon stand out. Here, if you don't have the best suspension, the best teletype, the best engineers, the best bike, you won't win, right? So for a parent, it seems like once you've battled to earn money, and you set your child on this path, you suffer even more.
Yes, of course. In Colombia, it's harder because over there, football is sponsored a lot. But other sports, and especially high-risk sports, not so much. Because we've tried it many times. We've knocked on many doors to only hear cool sport. It's a money sport. In my country, for example, there is this one track that Juan Pablo Montoya built, but it's not the most appropriate.
Wow, right. That was fun.
Yonny possesses great physical fitness. His training method shows us that effort can also be fun.
Physically, you're one of the strongest MotoGP riders. This is a complete sport also, similar to when you're on the bike, as you're inclined.
You're inclined on the bike, and you use your legs a lot, and the lumbar area, and your
forearms.
You work them out a great deal, pulling here and there, as you're always lifting. Then there's the concentration. Because jet skis are very unstable, and to manage 5 laps without falling off, you have to be focused at all times.
That's it, and balance, right? The balance you work out a lot in MotoGP.
From turn to turn, and being focused lap after lap, without making any mistakes, because it's harder to maintain your course as you're riding.
Yonny's motorcycling career is stepping forward very fast, and he has no intention of stopping. He just wants to keep on accelerating.
In a way, you started out late in this world, but you reached MotoGP, which is admirable. Because I know riders who haven't made it, even after starting out at the age of only 3 or 4.
My racing debut was in 2009 at the CEV. Then I moved straight into the World Championship. It's been a very, very quick career evolution. I was 19 when I started road racing.
That's so late.
Yes, I raced the Latin American Championship, the National Colombian Championship, then I did Super Motard. Also, here in 2008, I raced at the Spanish Championship, which I began, in a way of speaking, by stepping my foot down and winning many races my debut year, standing on the podium at the end of nearly every race.
CEV Repsol, it's the second highest level championship in the world after the World Championship. As a matter of fact, they call it the Junior World Championship because the level is so high.
The training session at the lake has ended for today. Yonny has to pack and prepare for his trip to Mugello. We follow him home to help him organize his trip.
That's it. This is one day in the life of Yonny Hernández. Follow me. envidia, pana.
¿Dices, tío? Ya estamos. Bueno, un poco de todo.
Well, a bit of everything. Some motorcycle suits from when I debuted at the CEV, and a few I had left from Ducati. There's my motocross bikes.
Cross, tengo dos.
I have two of them. And the two supermotard bikes.
Shall we go inside?
Yes, welcome to my home.
Tengo los cascos, tío,
I collect the helmets that I've used throughout the seasons.
de lo que he corrido en mis temporadas. Mi primero
My first road race,
de
my first CRT podium,
edición especial
this season's Argentinian Special Edition,
de oficial Ducati.
last year's Ducati helmets, this one I brought over from my country, the first time I came to Spain. Then here I have a nice souvenir from when my brother and me got accepted in the same team to race at the Spanish Championship. Then there's this really nice one. That brings me great memories of my first year at World Championship, where I was the tests leader.
Was this your first year?
At Barcelona, yep.
With only experience in motocross?
I also have this one from my first race at Jerez, alongside Tony Elias. Also my first year. And then, well, important races, I finished 8th and my first Moto 2 top 10 in Jerez.
Man, I'm really lazy when it comes to packing my bags. Wow, man. You're very religious, right?
Yeah, I pray a lot. I pray to Medina Celi, a saint who has really got me, and who's very miraculous.
Me llenó mucho.
So I frequent the Medina Celi church a lot.
Visito mucho la iglesia del Ángel de Medina Celi. La verdad, soy súper devoto.
The truth is I'm a very religious person. I don't know if you've noticed, but I always give my blessing before getting on the bike.
Come on, get to it. This is the most boring part of the MotoGP.
Yonny's professional career implies certain sacrifices, but the rider will keep on fighting to achieve success. A new trip, this time to Italy, is a new opportunity for victory. Everything's all set. Yonny will get on his plane to Italy. Speed isn't only important on the racetrack, it's also essential for an injured rider to have a quick operation and recovery period. Dr. Villamor is aware of this. So that his patients can make a quick comeback, he uses the most advanced techniques available.
Today we are in the world's garage for all the riders. This is the hospital. Here, the doctor Ángel Villamor knows everybody in the paddock. Moto 3, Moto 2, and MotoGP riders. Follow me in Inside Moto.
Dr. Ángel Villamor has spent 20 years working in arthroscopic surgery. He has treated a great number of top athletes that, thanks to his exceptional work, have recovered their physical form. He knows, better than no other, about all the extreme risks of motorcycling. In the motorcycling world, it's well known that Dr. Villamor is the best health professional a rider can trust.
This is not for me, if not for everybody, because I know it's for everybody. The most important hospital, for sure, for the MotoGP riders or whatever, but also other people from other sports. No?
I was traveling with a championship from the 90 to 96, and this was really my beginning in orthopedic surgeon for athletes. So all our techniques, our protocols that are adjusted to the motorcycle racers. We have begun and we have developed a lot of new techniques applied to the motorcycle racers, like that surgery about the compartmental syndrome. That is something very specific. We have operated also many climbers and many tennis players, but mainly we have discovered this technique and we have developed this technique due to the effort that they have to do when they are riding, because you know that they are always in tension with these muscles due to the acceleration and when they have to use the brake, so they work so much that finally the muscle doesn't fit inside its own envelope.
Always just immediately you crash, the first is called Villamor.
Yes, all our protocols, mainly the surgeries, with minimal invasive techniques, trying not to leave any side effect or any sequela, is very important for us. But mainly what they look for is to get again on their professional activity immediately. So this is what we have worked about for these 20 years.
At the end, this is your secret, no? You can do it and you put ready the riders for in an incredible short time, no?
Yes, it's true that we have to take care of organizing everything perfectly in order to operate as soon as possible when we have a break in between races. But also we have had to practice many surgeries immediately after the accident, because they want to be on the motorcycle on the motorbike in 2 weeks' time. That is the time we have for the next race.
Dr. Villamor has a tight schedule. He has a long list of patients to treat every day. The doctor knows that each of them demand a meticulous and personalized treatment.
It's cool, eh? Actually live. Yeah, this is nice.
Paul Espargago is a young rider competing in the MotoGP World Championship. He began having problems at his last race in Le Mans. He decided to leave his operation in Dr. Villamor's hands. Today, he pays a visit to the clinic to check up on his post-operative progress.
What happened?
It's a bit inflamed. Too much effort on the bike.
We have to practice ultrasound in order to see if there's any hematoma in between the muscles.
Always is the right side, normally it's the right side because you use the throttle and the brake, or also the left side?
It's true that sometimes we have to operate both, but it's more common on the right forearm because they are always continuously in effort due to the acceleration.
Cool.
After Le Mans, I decided to operate because Le Mans, the partial fault, the sector fault was the worst one.
The reason you can feel it good, but the brake is like a killer.
It's both. I mean, in that aspect, is in both sides you have problems.
We operated him last week, and tomorrow he's flying to the next race.
They are crazy.
Yeah,
they are crazy.
Now we are crazy because we have a good doctors, you know. To be crazy alone, it's not sense.
The last one. This is the last one, right?
Yonny Hernández is back from the Italian Championship. Yonny had a crash 1 year ago. He had surgery at the clinic and is back today for a checkup. But first, the fitness trainer has to test Yonny's physical fitness. Physical fitness isn't enough to compete in motorcycling. Surgical operations are very frequent for riders. Dr. Villamor's clinic is the perfect place to take the necessary tests.
They are really good. They are not bothering your joint. They are all inside the bone. And the plate has the real shape of your fibula. So it's not, as you see, it's not straight. So when we put it, we had to make the shape exactly as your other ankle. There's no signs of the fracture you suffered. Everything is healing. It's healed. And now the plate and the screws are not working, so we can remove them whenever you want. This type of materials can be there for all your life.
Yeah.
You know, many of them have the clavicles, you know, with the screws and plates, and they never remove them because.
Never remove.
And we tend to think that maybe they are protecting them against new fractures. Can you see Yonny here?
This is dangerous, for example, if you crash again, it's most easy broken because you have the...
Not in this case, but it's true that some cases you can imagine that this is too rigid. This segment of the bone is very rigid. So instead of flexing all the bone when you suffer an injury, instead of flexing everything, you won't flex this, so this is gonna suffer more stress. So that's why we tend to remove them in order to keep it as flexible as it is.
Which crash is this one? Which one?
It's Breno.
Breno.
Yes, last year. Yeah. I can do anything. I don't have any problem.
The day after surgery, you began to walk, no problem. It's true that the boot can be uncomfortable if we operate him now. I agree that.
I think at the end of the season will be better because you have time. You don't, and now I prefer stay focused on the season.
Yes.
No, because I think I don't know. Maybe when you open or something, need maybe time, no, for recover, for stay 100% again. So I think it's more relaxed if I take the operation at the end of the season.
This side. You can see that the joint is working perfectly. The screws are not bothering any joint. And as I told you, the bone has the perfect shape because the plate is, this is a good projection of the joint, completely free. Can you see, Yonny, here, your joint? We can move everything. No problems. That's why they are not bothering you. And we can wait until the end of the season.
What's happened exactly with the hole when you remove everything? What's happened? Because there are holes here, no?
It's a frequent question from the patients. It's true that at the beginning you can see the holes of the screws.
Yeah, for sure.
But they heal as little fractures. They fill up with blood, and in a month time, it's impossible to see them.
Before in the same food, I was having a different plate, and look now, nothing. Completely new. Only this, and that's it.
It's the body. It's so healthy. We can do whatever we want, but he will repair it. That's true.
He can make a lot of holes in your arm.
He heals.
Good job, eh?
He works better than me.
We found out that our champion's progress is favourable. The physical exhaustion from his last race has been recovered thanks to his training sessions. Dr. Villamor's checkup gives the rider the precise guidelines to be able to keep on fighting for the podium. There are many motorcycling risks. Any rider is exposed to accidents. But the passion for this sport makes them all put the necessary effort into returning to the tracks. Dr. Villamor's knowledge and professionalism bound to this passion are the key to success.
Fantastic day today with Ángel Villamor. It's like a mechanic for all the MotoGP riders. Okay, guys, follow us in Inside Moto.